Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to round number 8 here in the OWLS Racing League. I am Josh Richards, once again here to take you through all of the action. And tonight we are here at the Baku City Circuit for what should be some very, very exciting action. But before we get into that, we're going to take a quick look at our standings. See how things are going. As it stands, it is Yari and Leopold both equal on 99 points at the front of the field. Yari ahead with 2 wins compared to Leopold's 1 ahead on countback. Will Smooth, last time's race winner, he's jumped up to 4th in the championship now, 10 points behind Ewan, who is in 3rd position, only 4 points back as well. It's a very, very tight fight at the front of the field. Puzant in 5th on 71 points, not of racing, I believe, last time out. So taking him a little bit further out of the championship fight. Cook coming home in P8 last time out. He currently sits 6th in the championship. Quiet Boy in 7th. We've got Joker in 8th. ST in 9th. And Fran Bernoulli in P10. As for your constructors, Ferrari are leading the way on 127 points, 105 for Audi, Alpine on 95, 81 for V-Carb, Mercedes 76, 70 for McLaren, 68 for Aston Martin, 62 for Cadillac, 58 for Williams, 52 for Red Bull and Haas, all the way down at the back on only 14 points to their name. But yeah, very, very close at the front. 4 points separating our top 3 and the top 2 equal on points heading into this race. Let's have a look at the calendar as well, because we are heading towards the closing stages of this championship. Tonight we are racing at the Baku City Circuit. 4 races after this one. This one, of course, our final sprint of the season. So yeah, we race here tonight in Baku, and then we head out to Bahrain, Shanghai, Miami and Suzuka, wrapping things up those dates a week out of sync on the 6th of September. Should be a very, very exciting one. But yeah, we are here in Baku tonight, and this is the circuit that we'll be racing on. 20 turns, 6 kilometers around the capital of Azerbaijan. 2 active aero zones, 1 down the long start-finish straight. My camera has frozen. Let me quickly fix that. Unfortunately, I have been having a couple of issues. With that, there we go. So yeah, long start finish straight with active aero. The straight heading down towards turn number 3 as well, also carrying an active aero zone. That middle sector, such a tricky one, so many corners. The battery recharge isn't too bad around here because you recharge so much through the middle sector, and then you can deploy it all down the 2 straights and then just repeat that. You should be pretty alright around here. But yeah, overall not too bad of a circuit. It's a tricky one for qualifying as well. With the walls being so close, you're pushing right up to the limits, and a lot of the time we see quite a bit of chaos in the races as well. But yeah, we are now... My camera has frozen again. This is really unfortunate. I really do need to work out why this is happening. But yeah, we just await the drivers heading their way in towards qualifying. If you have got any predictions, make sure to chuck those in the chat. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so as to get notifications for when the channel does go live for the streams, of course. 8 o'clock every single Sunday we are racing. But we now are just waiting. We've got 21 of 22, I believe, in the lobby at the moment. If my calculations are correct. I think we're just waiting on one more person now to get into the lobby, and then we will be able to get things underway. Yeah, gonna be an interesting one with the sprint race coming up as well. The qualifying session, of course, the first one going to be 12 minutes long with 1 soft, 2 medium tyres. I think that's dependent on your tyre allocation, but definitely only 1 soft compound tyre. And then we have the sprint race, which will be, off the top of my head, 9 laps, I believe. I can actually look, yes, 9 laps. The sprint race will be. And then we head into an 18-minute qualifying session with 2 soft compound tyres, plus a soft, a medium, or a hard, depending on what your tyre allocation is. And then we head into the race, which is 26 laps. And I think we're going to be seeing quite a lot of carnage, quite a lot of chaos. And yeah, it's Baku. It's what we expect. It's what we come here for. And yeah, going to be a very, very exciting one indeed. But we are slowly but surely loading our way in towards the lobby now. And then we will be able to get things ready. get things going in qualifying, and we should be seeing a couple drivers heading out probably on their medium tyres for the first runs, just to get themselves warmed up, get themselves a banker lap down on the board, and get ready for that final run at the end of this session. The drivers going to be selecting their tyre allocations now, picking which tyres they want to carry through into the race. I expect a lot of drivers going to be going for that harder tyre allocation. The rear tyre wear around here is quite difficult, especially in the middle sector where you are just spinning up the wheels a lot, and as a result the tyres overheat, you slide a lot, and yeah, hard tyres probably going to be the favoured of the two throughout the running here tonight. But yeah, of course, all will be revealed once we do get our way in towards the racing action. Just gonna be a couple more moments and we will be headed down to the pit lane. But yeah, once again, make sure you put your predictions in the chat. If you have got anything to say, anyone you expect to win the race, or maybe take pole positions as well. Of course, we've got 2 qualifying sessions, 2 races, so double the opportunities for the drivers to do well here, and lots of points up for grabs as well. But let's head down trackside and see how the drivers can get on then here as we head in towards sprint qualifying. 12 minutes on the clock, and the drivers got to see if they can put their best times on the board here. Let's quickly get the track map up for you as well. I'm not sure if that's just me, but that looks smaller than usual. That might just be because of Baku. Unfortunately, my game did completely reset itself. I think it was last week, and as a result I had to go through and change quite a few settings. Hopefully that is a game issue and not a me issue, but nonetheless, first car out onto the track, one of the racing balls. That is Leopold making his way out. The walls are going to be so crucial for the drivers here tonight. One small mistake, you could pick up a bit of damage, and that can really cost you time, especially with how many corners you're going to have to navigate around this circuit. It's going to be a very important thing for the drivers to keep an eye out for. Pit stop loss is relatively high around here as well. It's quite a short pit lane, but because you are travelling at such high speeds down that start-finish straight, you do end up losing quite a lot of time. So it can be a bit risky going for the 2-stop, although with how high the tyre wear is as well, it does tend towards quite strong undercuts, quite strong overcuts. And I think, at least on last year's game, it was a 2-stop strategy. Whether that's going to be the case on this year's game, though, going to be a whole different question. Of course, lots of lifting through the corners to try and save battery, resulting in lower tyre wear, slightly change tyre model as well. Ultimately meaning a lot of tracks you don't have to do as much tyre saving. The focus isn't on the tyre saving, really. But the driver sitting second in the championship at the moment could take the championship lead come the end of the sprint race in 10 minutes time, plus a 9-lap race, if he can finish ahead of Yari and finish within 4 places of Ewan as well. Needs to not get beaten by Ewan by quite a few positions. Unlikely scenario, but you never know what could happen with the chaos of Baku. And I'm actually just looking now, and yeah, let's see what they can do as we head our way in towards the first few corners. Bit of a rub on the ball we could hear as he made his way through towards the end of the second straight mode zone here, hitting the brakes into turn 4. Bit of a lift there, you could hear, getting nice up and close with the barriers as he weaves his way through this section, through turn number 5. A little bit deep, but managed to control it nicely in towards this chicane now. Try and hug it tight over to the left-hand side to open it up for the second part. And interestingly, he is actually out there on soft compound tyres. Bit of a split with the tyres. Quite a few drivers immediately going out on their soft compound tyres, which is 6 of them in total. So that is their one and only soft tyre. A little bit deep there again. Leopold maybe struggling a little bit just to get the tyres hooked up in the opening stages of the lap. Sector 2 split has come, of course, a bit earlier. But again, deep on the brakes seems to be the issue for Leopold here. Going to hit the split here now. 14.9 is the split. It's purple in sector 1 and 2. So going strong for the time being, although that is Jack, I believe, gone faster in the middle sector. And he's out there on medium tyres as well. So there is definitely time still on the board here for Leopold. Maybe gone a bit too early on his soft compound tyres, dumping the battery all the way to the line though. Let's see what time it's going to be. It's a 39.1. 3 different drivers with the fastest sectors at the moment. Paulie with the fastest in the first sector. Jack sets a 40.3. Lost time in the final sector and the first as well. Ben comes in third fastest, 41.1 for him. Next is going to be XY3. Third fastest for him, 40.3. I've got one of the Hasses, I believe, of Cadillacs coming across the line along with one of the Mercedes as well. That is Joker, 39.9 on the board now for him. We'll jump over to, I believe, that is it's starting a lap there. Let's see who else we got out there. Rando, I think, going to be the next one across the line. 43.2. 6th fastest for the time being. Richie 41.4 to go 6th fastest now, and then C156 a 41.1 to go 6th fastest. The A team goes 8th with a 41.9. 2 more cars coming up towards the line as well, as that is Paulie to the 2nd fastest time. He's out there on a set of medium tyres though, and about half a second off the time of Leopold. MPA3 Gamers 40.0 to go 4th fastest, puts himself that a little bit closer to the front. Again, another driver out there on the medium tyres, but he's quite a distance off the back of Paulie at this moment. So going to be a focus to try and improve for that 2nd lap. But as it stands, still a lot of drivers without laps on the board. Let's see if we can catch anybody else coming to the end of their laps. We've got Sprint making his way out of the final braking zone of the lap. Just got to navigate his way through towards the end of the lap. Couple cars in front also fighting up towards the line, it seems. That, I believe, is one of the Cadillacs, I think, and a Ferrari coming into the pit lane, though. No, one of the Hasses. And we come across the line. Sprint goes 7th, 40.795. Who else do we have as he spins around down at the final first corner? Psycho goes 5th fastest, 40.2, 1.1 seconds off the fastest time so far. And he was another driver out there on the medium tyres. A lot of the drivers, in fact, we'll have a quick look at this, on the soft compound tyres are outside of the top 10 at the moment. It's only Leopold in the top 11 drivers who went for the soft compound of tyres. So might leave him a little bit vulnerable for this 2nd half of the session. It's all going to come down to whether those drivers can find improvement on their final runs here tonight. We're watching at the moment Captain Foxy as XD Tyler has gone to 3rd fastest, 39.7 for him, fastest in the final sector, and that jumps him right up there into contention, 6/10 off again on the medium tyres. Took an extra go at it and then managed to get that time on the board. Cook coming across the line. Where did he go? 9th fastest, 40.7, 1.6 seconds off of the fastest time. Couple drivers now switching over to their soft compound tyres, getting ready for that final run. We've got 5 minutes left to go on the clock here in qualifying, and then we get to see what the drivers can put on the board. Captain Foxy, MH1463 and Eddie, the drivers without times on the board at the moment, although Captain Foxy are going to be coming across the line in just a few moments to set a time, and we'll see what this is going to be. 40.8 goes 11th fastest. As there's someone else improving. Who was that? That was Eddie, up to 7th fastest on a 40.2. Final driver left without a time on the board is, if I can get to him, MH1463. A bit of a ways off the pace, I think, at the moment, but should be able to get a time on the board. Might be able to jump a couple positions, but the watch is very much going to be on the drivers getting ready for their final runs. A few of them already heading out onto the track now. MH1463 dives into the pits, hits the barriers. Very lucky that that was only front wing damage. I thought very easily could have been a tyre getting ripped off of the car. So now we wait and see who is going to venture out onto the track. That's another driver. That Eddie hitting the barriers very hard. And the front wing is gone from his car completely. With 3 minutes 30 left to go in this session, I'd be surprised if Eddie's able to get another lap time on the board here. Could be at risk, and Leopold has gone back out onto the track and we'll get their current tyres up now for you. He's on his medium tyres for his second run, so it's an interesting way to go about this sprint qualifying session. Maybe he thinks that the mediums are the favoured qualifying tyres. With rear overheating, it very much can be the case. The time is now ticking down though. So we're going to start to see a lot more drivers slowly heading out onto the track as Lucas Spurs goes 13th fastest on a 41.0. His third lap on the soft compound tyres. Taking a couple of goes to get that one on the board, but finds himself 13th fastest now and should be pretty happy with that one, I think. We'll keep an eye out now as XYZ I'm not sure how to say this name. He starts a lap, got a bit of traffic though as he makes his way through turn 2. Hopefully it shouldn't cost him too much as they move over to the left-hand side of the circuit. Have we backed off though, potentially? Oh, right on board, and I think we have indeed backed off here. Gonna be another preparation lap for the Audi driver. Most of the drivers have now ventured out. I think anyone who is still sat in the pit lane, which is XD Tyler, Cook, Captain Foxy, and Eddie, they're going to struggle to get a lap on. Cook is heading out now. It's a 1 minute 40 lap time when you're pushing. We've got 1 minute 50 on the clock now. This is going to be pretty tight, and even tighter, in fact, for XD Tyler, who's only just leaving now. There is probably just about enough time to make it around. But just looking about at the drivers who are out on the track now, BJ Riley starting a lap with pretty much exactly enough time. He's probably going to reach the checker flag, so if they drop behind this Cadillac, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. We'll keep an eye as well on the times of Leopold, who is the next car behind BJ Riley. The times are going to be coming in now. These are going to be their final runs. Anybody behind BJ Riley on track, there won't be enough time to get round to start another one, so these are going to be the ones to watch. And I'm just going to keep an eye out for the first sector times. 0.4 of a second up for the Cadillac already just through that first sector alone. Those soft tyres really working well for him. We'll jump over and have a look. Leopold, 1/10 of a second down. We've had a retirement as well. That is one of the drivers who remained in the pit lane. Dropping out of the session, of course, not going to get a lap on the board. But the driver currently second in the championship, leading the way at the moment in this qualifying session, unable to improve in the first sector. Psycho has retired as well. He's crashed out down at turn number 2. Will not be improving on his P6 position. Couldn't get the lap done on the soft compound tyres. A couple more yellow flags coming out as well as we watch. 20 seconds just over left to go in this session. Going to be very tight. I don't think Tyler is going to make it to the start finish line. It's going to be pretty tight here as BJ Riley picking up a very nice toe off the back of the Alpine. And we run up towards the start-finish line now. Cook will definitely make it in time. This is going to be very close for the Alpine driver. The timer is ticking down. 5 seconds to go. I think he will just about make it. BJ Riley goes 14th fastest, and he has made it across the line. As the Cadillac going straight on to get out of the way. We'll jump over to Leopold. 0.3 of a second up. Goes faster. 38.7. That is the benchmark now. 0.8 of a second. Paulie needs to find. He's 1/10 of a second down through the first sector. Going to have it all to do in this middle and final sector on the soft compound of tyres. More drivers coming up towards the line. Now we'll watch for the times. Richie only 17th fastest. Joker is 1/10 of a second up. He's making his way towards the end of the lap as well. Going to be oh so crucial. Paulie did improve in the middle sector, so he is looking to find some time here. We'll jump over, see who we can find coming towards the end of the laps. Ben Wow does not improve. We've got the other Haas coming across the line. That is Jack to go to third fastest at 39.7. Nice time on the board there for him. XYZ second fastest, 39.3. Here comes Paulie. Has he found enough time on his soft tyre run? No, he hasn't. He has not improved. It's only third fastest. Joker jumping up to fourth. A very nice lap time there for the Mercedes, but crucial laps coming in here. MPA3 Gamer comes across the line to go to third fastest by 0.5, beating the McLaren there. And all these laps coming in. Unfortunately, some drivers not able to get it done on their final runs, and it has cost them dearly. XD Tyler and Sprint jumping up into 8th position, 39.8. XD Tyler, the last driver, along with Cook, out there on laps at the moment, looking to try and find the improvements. Cook looking at his sectors, faster in the first sector, slower in the middle, does not improve. And Tyler coming up towards the line. What lap's it going to be? 7th fastest. He did not improve on his position. Stays down there in 7th. Unfortunately, could not hook it up in the end. But Leopold taking sprint pole here. A crucial one for him. Very, very nice to see. I'm curious whether that Audi is Yari, potentially. Because same nationality, it would make sense. I'll have to have a quick look, see if I can work that one out. But yeah, Leopold fastest in this qualifying session. XYZ, MPA3 Gamer, Paulie Joker, Jack Tyler, Sprint F1 Psycho, and Eddie, your top 10. We'll have a bit more of a look once we do head in towards the sprint as well. Let me see if I can find the check-in. Yari is checked in for the race. So I'm going to assume that that is probably Yari. Yeah. It is. It is in fact Yari. Yes. There we go. That makes sense. Not sure why his name is showing up differently for me. That is fine. So top 2 in the championship start 1st and 2nd. Then we have Pesant in 3rd, Ewan in 4th. Going to be a very, very exciting battle. 4 of our major contenders at the front in the championship, starting in the top 4 for this sprint race. And between the top 2 at the moment, whoever finishes ahead in this sprint race will take the lead of the championship heading to the feature. The 5 lights are on here in Baku for the sprint race. It's a jump start for Pesant. A terrible, terrible way to get things going here in Baku. He takes the lead heading in towards the first corner, but with that drive-through penalty, we'll be losing out dearly. Here comes Leopold towards turn number 2, looking to the inside of the Ferrari. Here comes Paulie as well, diving down the inside on the Audi, trying to find his way through. Couldn't get it done just there. I think we have a car going a little bit sideways. That's Richie in the Aston Martin, losing out on the start here, but big losers there. A couple of our drivers not having the best of launches. Joker hanging around the outside of Jack to hold on to that 5th place position, and Paulie ahead of the Audi now gets himself through on Yari up into 3rd position. A little bit of ghosting. Maybe there was a mistake there. The Mercedes, the Joker, inside line, switches to the outside as they make their way through the chicane. Running side by side, we've got more yellow flags out further back as well. That is BJ Riley in the Cadillac having a bit of a tumble. Jack to the inside heading in towards turn number 7, trying to keep the nose in there. Couldn't hold on to it in the end as we head in towards the castle section now. Still Leopold leading the way. Bit of contact with the walls for somebody there. Not going to be doing them any favours. But when are we going to see Pesant coming in for that drive-through penalty? Can Paulie hang on to the back of Leopold here, as he has taken that position away from Yari in the process? Making our way through, straight on there into the wall. Eddie, big hit there with the barriers. That is not going to do his wing any favours, and I expect we're going to be seeing him tumbling down the order as he battles away with Cook through the final few corners of the lap. But we come towards the end of the first lap. It's MPA3 Gamers who leads the way here, but with a drive-through penalty for a jump start, he is going to be sent tumbling down the order. And in fact, I think coming in to serve it on this opening lap, so we'll drop all the way to the back of the field. Leopold, with the fastest lap, takes the lead here and maintains it on this opening lap. Paulie is dropping further behind. Yari going to be looking to try and capitalize, try and fight his way through and look to fight with his championship rival. Eddie picks up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Richie retiring from the race as well. Eventful start to this race already. Yari already looking, showing the nose to the inside, trying to get in the mirrors, in the mind of the McLaren, and hope that a mistake comes which will allow him through. As it stands already, the gap is 1.1 seconds. Eddie now retiring from the race as well. The gap is extending at the front of the field. Ewan is struggling to keep up with our race leader, and as a result, will probably lose the overtake mode at the end of this lap and leave himself very vulnerable. The gap now 1.5 seconds as we head in towards the castle section. Yari looking to the inside, heading into this section of corners. Unrealistic to expect a move, but you can see how close he's able to get on towards the back of the McLaren, and the time loss is coming corner after corner. The time is dropping away, although Leopold, maybe struggling a bit on the battery, has just lost a decent chunk of time as we head in towards turn number 15. Now launching it over the curb, almost into the barrier there for Yari in the Audi, but fortunately keeps it nice and clean. The gap 1.1 seconds as we make our way through the detection point. No overtake mode for Ewan in the McLaren. Gonna have to do this all on the basic power now. And we head down towards turn 1 now. Overtake mode for Yari. Joker as well closing in as we head towards the first braking zone. Further back, the Red Bull making moves in the background of the shot. We'll jump back towards them now as in towards turn 1. XD Tyler around the outside of MH1463. Bit of contact there with the wall, I think, on the inside, but manages to squeeze his way through up into 9th position. Cook as well also making a move up into 12th as we make our way down towards turn number 3 now. Joker also getting close to the back of Yari. Does seem that there is a bit of a bottleneck in the pack, but Leopold has already fallen back into the clutches of the rest of the pack. So seemed at first like he was going to be very, very confident. Might have just over pushed it a little bit too much with the battery, maybe not saving as much battery as the rest of them, and as a result they have closed back in. Bit of a lock up there for the Racing Bulls driver. Doesn't cost him too much time though. Once again through the castle section, they weave their way up the hill. 1.4 seconds is the gap on the exit, but with better battery management potentially, look at that gap coming down. We saw it last time around, and once again that gap does decrease. It's 1.1 seconds now. Unfortunately, might be again a loss of the overtake mode, but crucially Yari and Joker a lot further back from Ewan this time around. I probably won't be vulnerable heading down towards turn 1. In fact, it might be this time around that Yari is actually going to be looking in his mirrors, defending rather than attacking, because Joker is gaining on the back of the Audi as we head down towards turn 1. Although as the battery runs out, that does seem to level itself out. Battery's being recharged. In fact, it's Jack looking to the inside, going brave there. Les Lyko in towards the first corner, finds his way through, up into 4th position now on the attack, and straight immediately onto the back of Yari as well. Jack maybe recharging a bit more, looking to try and put the pressure on. There are some yellow flags out. Down towards turn 1, not going to affect things here. Joker now with maybe a bit more battery after recharging into turn 1, closing in on the back of the Haas car, heading down towards turn number 3. Not close enough for the overtake there, and immediately Jack once again getting onto the back of Yari, and here comes the move, maybe a bit of a slide, looking to try and find his way past the Audi. Could not find it there. If not for that mistake, we could have been seeing him making his way through up into the podium positions. Leopold has once again pulled the gap further back. Sprint F1 and Psycho getting close together there as well. Heading in towards turn number 7. No move coming of it. Drivers making opportunistic moves up and down the field. You've got to be careful when you are going for moves. Of course, there's a 3-second time penalty for Sprint for picking up multiple warnings. That is going to be a little bit costly. Currently in the battle with Psycho, it's the only position he would lose, so only 1 point lost. But you always know those single points could end up being very, very important come the end of a championship. And as we are heading towards the closing stages, they are really going to start to add up. Coming towards the end of lap 4 out of 9 here in this sprint race. I will also show you quickly, not all the drivers on the same tyres. Yari started on the medium tyres. A lot of drivers opting for a hard compound tyre in the sprint race, which is an interesting decision to say the least. More yellow flags coming out, and that is MH1463 tumbling down the order. Here comes Jack down the inside, in towards the first corner, looking for the overtake there, and might be under pressure from Joker now as we head in towards the braking zone of turn 2. Has the inside line still on the Audi now, but the Mercedes with a better run out of the corner could have a chance heading down towards turn number 3. All the while, the car's further back, closing in. Here we go to the inside. The Mercedes squeezing his way alongside. Bit of a lock up there as they go a bit deep into the corner, but Joker is through. Big snap of oversteer there from Jack as well. Tyres just not able to hang on as we have had our third retirement from this race as well. Leopold 1.9 seconds clear up at the front of the field. Ewan also having a bit of a gap starting to form behind him as well, and now Joker is the one putting the pressure on. Yari's tyres might be starting to struggle. Is this why we saw so many drivers going for the hard compound tyres, defending into the castle section? Not the line you want to be taking. Is there a big slide from sprint as well? That very well could have ended in disaster, but it seems that Yari is really starting to struggle, and here comes Joker around the outside as we head down towards turn number 15. The rear end really almost giving up there on that Audi. Joker is through, and I think it's going to be very, very soon. We're going to be seeing Jack following his way through as well, maybe out of this final corner. Joker inherits that podium position now. Ewan has caught up to the back of Leopold, was a couple seconds back just a few sectors ago, is now only 6 tenths off the back of our race leader. Jack is also closing in now on the back of Yari, and I think towards turn 1 might be able to get the move done as he attempted just a lap ago. Down towards turn 1 we go, closing in on Yari. Yari closing in on Joker. We're 3 wide heading into the braking zone. The Audi takes the outside line. Jack to the inside, trying to squeeze the Audi into the wall. They go, contact being made. Joker follows through as well. Jack and Joker both ahead of Yari. Now, is there damage to that Audi potentially as well? That is going to be the big question that these drivers are going to have to watch out for. Maybe a potential penalty coming the way of Jack later on as well. MH1463 retiring from the race. Only a handful of laps left to go, and I think Leopold has made a mistake. He was ghosted, and Paulie is right on the back of the V-Carb driver now as we head down towards the chicane, towards the end of the first sector. Looks to the inside. A late send there from the McLaren driver. Tries to switch back now as we run down towards turn number 7, gaining on the Racing Bulls driver. Tucks back in. Wise decision heading in towards such a tight section of corners, but the pace advantage is definitely there. He seems to be strong at this moment in time, and all the while these guys are battling, Jack and Joker are both catching up. Ewan soon could be having to look in his mirrors as well if he's not careful, because the gap is only 1.3 seconds. We head down towards turn 15. Ewan weaving left and right, looking for the gap, trying to find his way through. He's had such a pace advantage through that section of corners, which is really just a straight in towards the final braking zone of the lap. We're going to see a change of race lead finally. I think he might have just picked up overtake mode as well. Ewan takes the race lead here. Leopold tucking in behind now, but Jack and Joker have rocked up on the scene, and with the overspeed as well, a much better run out the final corner. This could shake things up because Jack is closing on Leopold, who as it stands will be your championship leader come the end of this sprint race. But all of a sudden our top 4 separated by just 8 tenths of a second down towards the first corner. Paulie with the outside line manages to carry the speed. Here comes Jack looking for a switchback on Leopold, trying to squeeze his way through towards turn 2. He's going to have the inside line, tucks himself back in. Yari has been tumbling down the order as well. We've also got Moist stopped on the start-finish straight, but here comes Jack to the inside, now to the outside, looking for a way through on Leopold, trying to find his way through into second position. Can't find it there on this lap, but we still have a couple more attempts. All the while, Ewan is pulling away the gap, 7 tenths of a second. We know he's strong at the end of the lap as well. That could be a potential chance for him to try and break away. We'll have to wait and see how things play out. But Leopold looking pretty untouchable at the start of this race, as a big slide there for Yari in the background of shot. Leopold looked pretty untouchable at the start of things. Fastest on a medium tyre in qualifying. Big hit with the wall. That was Psycho. Hitting the barriers through the castle section. Rear tyre clipping the wall as a big slide. Dropping them down now to 8th position. Still in the points as it stands, and could be picking up an extra position as Cook picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. That will pretty much secure his position outside of the points for this race. But we watch up towards the front once again. Things going to get spicy, I think, in these late stages. We're starting the penultimate lap in just a few moments. Ewan has pulled a 1-second margin up at the front. Here comes Jack immediately on the charge. Maybe Leopold struggling with the battery management here, because here comes the Haas, here comes the Mercedes, as well as we head down the start-finish straight, running 3 wide towards the first corner. Leopold later on in the straight gaining a bit of that top speed back, holds on to the position for the time being. Lock up though for the V-Carb. Here comes Jack looking for a switch back. There's contact as the V-Carb is sliding. Jack trying to find his way through. Here comes Joker now, round the outside through turn number 2, trying to squeeze his way past the Haas to get himself up into the podium positions. Nothing coming of it in the end, but that just complicates compromises both of their runs down towards turn number 3 now. Nobody going to get close enough to try and challenge Leopold this time around. Another lock-up, though, for the V-Cup driver. Sends him wide, and that could be costly. There's damage to his front wing. Loss of wing there for Leopold. Jack and Joker both through now, up into second and third position. They both inherit the podium positions. And now can Yari, in the dying stages, maybe try and close that margin? The damage doesn't look too bad. It's only 2 more laps left to go as well, and the gap is 3.6 seconds. Yari's tyre is going to be falling off the cliff here, but you never know what could happen in these late stages. We've got side-by-side action here. C156 going to the inside. Sprint locks up, goes straight on, and that allows Cook through up into 8th position now. The 2 drivers with time penalties at this stage battling away. Big slide there from Cook as well as he heads up the hill through the castle section. Going to be hanging on. Here comes Ben now with a much better run. Could have a chance. And MPA3 Gamer's not been the best of runs for him after that drive-through. Has managed to fight his way back through, almost to the brink of the points, and very well could be on with a chance at points despite picking up a drive-through in this sprint race. Down towards turn number 16 they go. Ben with the inside line. Paulie's setting up a better run, very, very wide there from sprint, and it makes contact as he rejoins the track into the path of Captain Foxy down the inside, heading through turn 17 there. MPA3 Gamers to take 9th position, 2.6 seconds off the back of Cook as it stands on for 1 point here in this race. We're starting the final lap of the race now, and up at the front they have closed in on you, and this might not be over just yet for the race victory here in the sprint. The gap is 0.8 of a second, but you never know what could happen in this middle sector to try and close things in. Sprinters into the pits to fix his car after that collision he just had. Time is ticking down. Yari is not really closing in enough. Has only closed a couple of tenths of a second on Leopold here, so looks like Leopold, despite the damage, will be able to hang on to the 4th position and will inherit the championship lead by 1 point. I believe, if my calculations are correct, he'll be a point ahead of Paulie, who will be equal on points with Yari in this one. And yeah, as it stands, the gap's starting to expand here up at the front. Jack going to be closing in, maybe trying a last lap challenge on the McLaren, but it seems like he's going to be a little bit too far back. I think we'll be looking further down the field towards the minor points paying positions, as Yari is having a bit of an issue here. The tyre is really starting to give way, losing 2 positions coming out towards turn number 15, and might be costing himself even more. Potentially Cook going to be trying to find his way through. Puzan also in the Ferrari going to try and find his way through. Nothing coming up at the front of the field. Big slide there for the Audi. Will jump over to the front of the field though, because it is going to be sprint victory for Ewan in the McLaren to take himself to just 1 point off of championship lead. He could take the lead of the championship here tonight, potentially. Not quite done it in the sprint, but things going pretty much to perfection. Not the best sprints for either of his championship rivals, as side by side they run towards the line. Lots of drivers battling up towards the line. Jack, Joker rounding out your podium. Leopold in 4th. MKD in 5th. Psycho, Yari, Puzant, Cook, Benoit, Captain Foxy. The A-team in 12th. Rando in 13th. And then the last few drivers making their way towards the line. BJ Riley, not the best start to the sprint. Managed to recover. Hold on to 14th. Sprint comes home in P15. Didn't quite go his way at the end. And then we have Moist coming home in P16, the last of the finishers. 5 retirees in the sprint race. And if that's the chaos that we're going to be seeing in just a 9-lap race, what are we going to see when we have 26 laps of action to come your way? It is Paulie, though, who takes victory in the sprint race here. Jumps himself up to 103 points in the championship. Leopold on 104. Yari is on 101. So things have expanded a little bit in our championship battle, but it's not over just yet. Puzan also really great job to fight back through and pick up points in the end. But yes, there are your sprint. If I can find the button, there's your sprint race results for you. And yeah, really great job, I have to say, from Puzan. He had a drive-through at the start of the race, managed to fight his way through all the way back to P8. And I think, to be honest, had he not had that drive-through, definitely would have been in contention. Probably would have driven away to victory with that one. 12.8 seconds off of the lead. And really unfortunate for him, he's just disconnected, heading in towards qualifying. So that could make things that a little bit more difficult for the Ferrari driver. But yeah, 12.8 seconds off of the lead while overtaking cars and serving a drive-through penalty. I think he probably would have flown away with that one if he can get back in. Should be on, I think, for a very nice victory if he can maintain that pace throughout this one. Maybe we're having a lobby restart because a couple more drivers have left the session. We'll keep an eye out, see if something has been said. We have got cars heading out onto track. Might just be a couple of connection issues for one or two drivers. So let's head over the A team. First of the drivers out on track here. Let's see what the drivers can do now in this qualifying session. 18 minutes on the clock for all of the drivers. So slowly but surely the drivers heading out onto the track. 21 in the lobby, although two of them, I believe, disconnected at the moment. Hopefully we'll be able to rejoin the session. It was 38.7 was the fastest time we saw in sprint qualifying, but that was on a set of medium tyres set by Leopold. So whether we're going to see anybody go faster than that, I think we'll have to wait and see. Leopold is actually out there on the hard compound tyres this time around. So really seems against the use of the soft compound tyres. Leopold, he's used one soft for his first run, then a medium for his second run, and then 9 laps on the hard compound tyres, and deciding he wants to get a few more in this qualifying session. So we'll wait and see how things go for him. I expect probably not going to be reaching the maximum pace on that hard compound tyre. Most of the drivers now out on the track. And the A team heading down towards the first corner. Let's see what he can do. Hitting the brakes in towards turn number 1. Bit of a slide as he got onto the power. Got one of the Cadillacs, I believe, as well, making their way out of the pit lane. Just behind him, though they've just gone straight on. That's not the ideal line. Definitely not going to happen. I believe that is Psycho. It is indeed Psycho. And yeah, just managing to get themselves back going once again. The A team making their way through. It's not been too bad of a start to the lap. Bit of a tap with the wall there as they've gone slightly wide. Let's see what the first sector looks like. We'll get that up on the screen for you. A 36.4 for the Audi driver. Both Audis out on laps, as well as the Racing Bulls of Leopold. The Cadillac, in fact, most of the drivers now starting their laps. So I won't run through them all because I think that's going to be the majority of them at this stage. Only a couple of drivers still in the pits, and that is Jack, Cook, Rando, Moist, Pusant, and Tyler. That's an easier list to get through. Captain Foxy now with the fastest first sector, although I expect that is going to be disappearing relatively soon, as indeed it is. Leopold with the fastest first sector on the hard compound tyres, 35.1, 1.3 seconds faster than the A team. Manitou now has the fastest middle sector as the first driver to make his way through, running up towards the line. 38.7 was the benchmark we saw in sprint qualifying. That has come and gone, unfortunately, for the A team, who sets a 1 minute 43.4. First time on the board. Next car to the line is going to be Captain Foxy, I believe, or it might be BJ Riley, one of the other. These two going to be making their way up towards the line. It is, in fact, going to be the Cadillac. Goes fast. It's 41.2 on the board. Next car is going to be the Mercedes, who sets a 40.3, followed up by the Audi of Yari on the medium tyre, a 40.2. Interesting decision there with the tyres. Let's see Leopold now on the hard compound tyres, 39.5, 7/10 of a second faster. Still a ways off the time we saw in sprint qualifying. He sat on the medium tyre, but finding pace out there. 39.8 for Joker on the softs. Decent lap time there from him. And then we have Sprint coming across the line. Picked up a nice slipstream off the back of Ewan. Sprint race winner, 39.8 there for the Williams driver. There's a couple more drivers coming across the line. C156 goes 6th fastest. Let's see who else we can catch out there. Well, let's head over to our sprint race winner, see how this lap is going for him as we head in towards turn 4. Having a little bit of a second go at the turn in there, in towards turn number 3. Decent start to the lap so far. We'll keep an eye, of course, on the timing tower as well, in case we see anybody jumping up there, such as, who was that? That was, I think, Lucas Spurt, 8th fastest, 41 point. For the other McLaren driver, that was fastest in the first sector, though, for Ewan, a 35.1. So good start to the lap so far. Just got to keep it hooked up here. Should be on, I think, go fastest. As it stands, middle sector split going to be a really important one. And we'll make our way through turn number 15. Good run through there. Psycho's gone up to 4th fastest on a 40.1 through the middle sector. 15.2 is Purple again in the middle sector. As long as he's got enough battery left, this should be on to be the fastest time so far in qualifying. Is it going to be into the 1 minute 38? Because we know Leopold can get there. That is the time you've really got to be focusing on. Sprint race winner coming up towards the line now. Can he sprint himself to provisional pole position? Time is ticking down. It's going to be a 39.6. Loses time to Leopold in the final sector, but second fastest as it stands. Not too bad for Ewan, and we know you've got to keep your nose clean once you do get in towards the race. Leopold picking up that damage, getting a little bit too rough with the barriers, and that was what cost him in the end. So that's going to be the crucial one for the drivers to watch out for as we do head towards the race. Let's jump over to Puzant, who's coming towards the end of his lap. 2 green sectors, couple tenths off Paulie in the middle sector, but pretty much matching in the first sector. Could be on for a decent lap time here as we run up towards the line. Going to be a 39.8 to go 3rd fastest. Nice lap time on the board there for the Ferrari driver. Slots himself in nicely into P3. Pretty close, that fight for P3 as well. Less than a tenth of a second, covering 3rd, 4th and 5th. Tyler also jumping up to 6th while we were watching the Ferrari go up to 3rd. 40.118 for him. And now waiting for the drivers out there on their laps to see what they can do. The other Ferrari of Eddie on a lap at the moment. 35.4 in the first sector, 4 tenths off the fastest. We've seen 40.7, about 6 tenths off the fastest, I think. Should be on for something around a mid-40, maybe high 40. Could be on to get himself right on the cusp of the top 10 potentially, though. For the Ferrari driver, runs out of battery now, running purely on the power of the combustion engine. Up towards the line, going to be a 1 minute 40.7 to go 11th fastest. Decent lap again on the board there for the Ferrari. Got Cook out there on the track now as well. One of 3 drivers on the track without time on the board. 5 drivers in total yet to get a time on the board. The 2 Aston Martins, Jack, who we expect to be up near the front of the field. Rando and Moist, as Psycho now disconnecting from the session. Currently sitting in P7, not going to be the best of news for him. He's in quite a strong fight, could be on for a decent position here as Moist retiring. No lap time on the board for him, so will not be improving on that one at all. Let's see how things are going for Cook. He was 2 tenths down on Purple in Sector 1. Through the middle sector, we'll see in just a moment how much time he is off of the fastest time. Going to be a 15.9 is the split there. 40.6 in the middle sector. Not been too bad of a lap here could be on to get himself nicely into the top 10 here. Let's see how this final sector goes for the Aston Martin driver. Leopold is back out on another lap as well. Immediately ready to go for another push. I think Paulie is also actually pushing on his used tyres. So we'll see how these guys get on. Here comes Cook to go 10th fastest with a 40.3. A couple hundredths off of Captain Foxy. Let's see, Paulie is marginally down through the first two sectors, but has improved in the middle sector. Can he find time in the final sector? Was there a bit of a mistake with his battery management? Is this going to allow him an extra position? Looks like he may be coming to the pit lane here. We'll see what he's going to do. Stays out on the track. Is it going to be an improvement to go fastest? Lifts off at the end. 0.3 of a second down. No improvement coming. Leopold, 0.4 of a second up. That's a mistake, though. Down in towards the castle section. That's probably his advantage. God almost clips the barrier there as well. Getting really close with a bit of understeer to that outside wall. Could still be on for an improvement here, but definitely still time in this lap for the Racing Bulls driver. Let's see what the split is going to look like as we make our way through towards the end of the lap. Final braking zone for the driver. He's 6 tenths up. He's found time in the middle sector despite that mistake. Purple in both sectors, probably with quite a few tenths still to be found as well. 34.7, 40.0 are the sector times so far as he runs up towards the line. This is going to be going fastest. That is of no doubt. How fast can he go, though? Comes across the line. It's going to be a 39.1. Finds 0.4 of a second in the end, as Yari, 39.7, also finding about 0.4 of a second. Gets himself back up into third position. Now our top three in the championship, sitting in championship order with only a handful of points separating them. If one of these drivers wins the race, they will take the lead of the championship for certain. If none of them win, it gets a little bit more complicated. Leopold, obviously, the favoured driver, who, as he currently leads the championship, but it's all going to come down to how the drivers finish here tonight. Sprint F1 currently in 5th position, marginally down through the first sector of the lap. Fastest final sector at the moment is held by Joker. Just for information, that's a big clatter with the barriers for the Williams driver. Watching the Delta, he is actually a 10th of a second up still. As long as he hasn't picked up any wing damage, could be on to find a little bit more time here. Maybe jump himself ahead of Pouzan as well. Looks like the car is understeering a little bit. Can we get an off-board shot? The wing actually does look intact. Might have gotten away with that one there, the Williams driver. Let's see as he comes across the line now. Lost the time in the final sector, does not improve, stays in 5th position. A lot of the drivers just waiting right until that final lap of the session. Of course, they only have 2 sets of the soft compound tyres. I'm just looking, Lucas is the only driver. Actually, sorry, Lucas and the A-team have both used both of their soft compound tyres so far. As has Paulie, I believe. Unless he went out on used tyres. He may be out of tyres at this stage, which will be a worrying sign because Leopold, on a very scruffy lap, is half a second faster than him. Not the best sign for the driver who sits second now in the championship. Yari as well also going to be looking to find time on that final lap. Jack with 1 lap on the board so far, went out a lot later than the rest. Only 9th fastest, was fighting for the win in the sprint race. Now only sitting 9th as BJ Riley. 14th fastest on the medium tyre, so that's a 40.9. 4 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. MH1463 is currently the only driver on an outlap at the moment. And nobody currently pushing. So we are just waiting for the timer to tick down for the drivers to get ready for their final runs, to head out onto the track and try and beat the 39.1 currently set by Leopold, which we very much expect is going to be improved upon, considering the sizable mistake that we saw in that middle sector. I would not be surprised if we're seeing maybe even as low as a 38.5 potentially here. Gonna be an interesting one for sure. whether anybody can even get close to Leopold. He seemed to be struggling a lot though with his battery management in the race, so maybe that is his weakness. Very strong in qualifying, but that is going to be something definitely I think for him to work on once we do head towards the race. As Tyler has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Can we get some cameras on that? What on earth has happened? I'm not too sure. Unfortunately, we won't get a camera on it. I expect he's either spun or hit the barrier coming out of the pit lane. He's blocked the pit lane. As a result, has been disqualified and drops to 21st on the grid, which is very unfortunate for him. He was only about a second off and, yeah, was sat up in 7th position. Will now start the race from last place. Big shame there for him. Let's jump over to MH1463, who is the only driver out as it stands on a push lap. Drivers slowly but surely now making their way out onto the track. All three of our top 3 drivers on the track now as well. We'll wait and see the first sector time from the Williams driver. See if he can find an improvement here in this first sector, or whether he is just preparing himself. 35.2 was his previous best. It's a 35.1 in the first sector for the Williams driver. So finding a bit of time here, definitely pushing for the time being. 1 minute 45 left to go on the clock, and everybody is out on the track now. Lucas Spurs, the last driver to venture out. He's on a 3rd soft compound tyre, which would make one assume that he is either on a, well, I'd say he's on a used set of tyres, or he's potentially run a used tyre at some point in the session. Middle sector split here for MH1463. He's a second up now on this lap, which is going to put him on the cusp of the top 10 if he can find a few more tenths in this final sector. 2.4 off the fastest time at the moment. Could be on to contend for 11th position if he can maintain that time. Needs to find a couple more tenths to get into the top 10 provisionally. Running up towards the start-finish line, Yari has started his final lap. It's 7 tenths found in the end. 13th fastest is where he puts himself. Let's jump over to the 3rd place driver at the moment. 3rd in the championship as well. Unfortunate sprint race for him, going from leading the championship down to 3rd. But of course can still fight back here in the race as well. Let's see what this lap is looking like. A 1/10 of a second up through the first sector. Still quite a way off the pace of Leopold in that first sector anyway. Got a car straight on one of the Williams down at turn number 3 as well. Brings out a yellow flag. Hopefully not going to affect many of our drivers. We'll keep an eye on Leopold as well, who is making his way through. I think Paulie also just in front. We'll keep an eye out for these two, their sector times. Paulie through the first sector, 2.5 tenths up. Leopold, 2 tenths of a second down. He has lost time on this lap, and that could be costly for him. Checker flag is now out, so the time is ticking away for the drivers. Got to make sure they get their laps together. Yari is still only a 1/10 of a second up, might be able to provisionally take the position away from Paulie, but probably not for long if they continue out the momentum that they have been carrying. Paulie going to be looking to try and improve and find that time. C156, 9th position for him. Next car across the line is the Cadillac of Psycho. Stays in 7th position. Yari comes across the line. Where does he go? Stays in 3rd position. Doesn't find improvement. Half a second up for Paulie. Leopold is still not improving. Losing time in the middle sector as well. Paulie is flying at the moment. Could be on to try and snatch this one away if Leopold cannot do anything in this final sector. A slipstream as well coming in the dying stages from one of the Aston Martins to drag Paulie to the line. Is it going to be enough to try and snatch pole position away as we come across the line? 39.0 takes it, and yes, by just 14 thousandths of a second. Leopold fastest in the final sector, but it was not enough. Paulie takes pole position here in Azerbaijan unless somebody can do anything about it. But Puzant, 8 tenths of a second away, only 3 tenths of a second up. I don't think he'll be getting close. Jack goes to 3rd fastest, 39.6. Puzant 3rd fastest now, 39.5. Nobody is getting close enough to touch the two at the front. 66,000th round for sprint. He stays in 6th position, and it's pole position for the driver who won the sprint. Nobody cracked the 38s this time around, and now Pooley leading the way to start things off here in Azerbaijan, could have a chance to potentially fight for victory and take the championship lead with just 4 more races to go after this one. The British driver making last lap heroics, fastest in the middle sector, and that was where he found most of his time. An incredible first sector as well, just about able to hang on in the final sector, lost a couple of tenths of a second, but it's Pooley fastest, Leopold in second, Puzant in third, Jack in fourth, Yari in fifth, Sprint in sixth, Joker, Captain Foxy, Psycho, Eddie, C156, Cook, Lucas, MH1463, BJ Riley, Ben, Ritchie, the A-Team, Rando, Moist, and Tyler, who picked up that disqualification for blocking the pit lane, should have been on, I think, in the end, for about... So, I actually don't know exactly what his time was. He would have got... I can see now, he would have been 11th. He would have qualified in the end, although obviously missed out on his opportunity for a final run, and things being so close in that midfield fight, an extra 10th or 2 would have jumped him potentially back up into 7th position where he was before he picked up that disqualification. But yeah, an incredible lap there from Pooley right at the end of qualifying. 39.084, 14,000th faster than the Racing Bulls of Leopold, who did manage to find an improvement, but it was not enough to put himself fastest in the end. Not a personal best in Sector 1 or Sector 2. Lost time in both those sectors. 2 tenths in Sector 1, 3 tenths in Sector 2. Maybe saving a bit more battery for that final sector, which is why we saw him go fastest. But in the end, not enough for the Racing Bulls driver. Missed out by 34 thousandths of a second. Sprint victory and main race pole position now for Ewan, who sits second in the championship, just a couple points away from taking the lead. If he can hold on to this position, could be on to lead the championship heading out of this race, which would be a really, really great feeling with just 4 races left to go. Yari down in 5th as well, starting to struggle a bit. Maybe not the best circuit for the Audi driver. But we just wait now for the time to tick down. The drivers to get ready, select their strategies. Going to be an interesting one with high tyre, where we saw a lot of drivers going for hard compound tyres in the sprint race. 9 laps was too much for a lot of the drivers on the medium tyres. We very well could be on for a potential 2-stop strategy here tonight, and we know for certain that Leopold has selected the harder tyre set. We know that Yari and Sprint have both selected the balanced tyre set. We don't know anything about anybody else. They haven't shown their hand just yet, but I would definitely expect a 2-stop from Leopold heading into this one. Here we go down to the grid, though. The 5 lights are on ahead of the drivers. Ewan on pole position, the lights go out, and we go racing towards turn 1. Good start from Leopold, who has the inside line, heading in towards the first corner, trying to take the lead immediately. Pooley round the outside, gets the better run, a spin in the background, and that is Sprint F1 and Joker both tumbling down the order. The Williams and the Mercedes coming together. Unfortunate stuff here at the start here tonight. More cars tumbling down. Captain Foxy also losing positions as the order all settles itself out. Yari, he's the big loser once again. We've got more cars picking up penalties. Sprint F1 a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. We are under virtual safety car. Jack is also dropping down the order. What has happened to the Haas car? He's retired from the race. A lot of chaos here in the mid-pack under this virtual safety car. Not too sure what has gone on. Jack is out immediately. Captain Foxy picks up a 10-second penalty. Sprint has a 10-second penalty. Yari, Joker and Sprint all dropping out of position here on the opening lap as well. Eddie is up to 4th already. 6 positions gained for him. C156 up 6 positions. 7 positions gained for Lucas. Ben Wow up 9. Lots of positions lost in the mid-pack. And the 2 Ferraris currently running 3rd and 4th. This could be a great opportunity for them in the Constructors' Championship. But so many of our drivers who are starting up near the front. Jack, Sprint, Joker, Yari, Psycho, all losing positions on this opening lap. We are back to green flag running and things get underway. Paulie and Leopold, first and second. A great opportunity now for these two to extend their lead up at the front of the championship. But which one of them is going to be walking away with championship lead with 4 races to go? As it stands, Paulie is leading as we come towards the end of the first lap. 0.6 of a second clear of Leopold. They've dropped over a second to the next set of cars. And I think things are going to get a little bit chaotic as the two packs start to converge after this opening lap. But here comes Leopold towards turn 1, gaining in the slipstream, pulls over to the right-hand side of the circuit, the outside line in towards turn 1, trying to carry more speed, swoop his way around the outside and take the lead as we start lap 2 of 26. Paulie with the inside in towards turn number 2, retaking that position. But Leopold a better exit on the charge once again towards turn number 3. Look to the inside now, looks to the outside. Can he go later on the brakes? Try and hang it around the outside in towards turn 4. Paulie has the better run. Leopold looking for the switch back in towards turn number 4 now. Leopold seems to have the stronger pace this battling, allowing Puzan to close in as well round the outside through turn number 5 now for the V-Carb driver. Switches to the inside, clatters over the curb, going to compromise his run. And Paulie with the lead once again. Here comes Puzan now to the inside, late on the brakes in towards turn number 7. Not a place where we often see overtaking, but the Ferrari is through up into second position. Opportunistic dive to the inside, finds his way through up into P2. Now his teammate currently running in 4th, doing a great job to hang on to those positions at the moment. But it's McLaren, Ferrari, V-Carb as it stands, and Paulie would have, I think, an 8-point lead coming out of this race if things were to stay like this in the Drivers' Championship. Going to be oh so crucial come the end of this one. BJ Riley right on the back of Cook. Got a bit of a train starting to form behind Ben here as we've got yellow flags out as well. Someone going slowly a little bit further behind. These are the tyres for you now at this moment in time. Only a couple drivers opting for the hard compound tyres. Most of them going for the medium tyres. We'll jump back over to the front of the field because here comes MPA3 Gamer side by side. Ewan and Puzan running towards the first corner. Fastest lap going the way of the Ferrari, but the McLaren driver holding on to the lead for the time being. As we saw in the sprint though, they are yo-yoing a little bit here and there. Going to be really, really crucial as BJ Riley dropping quite a few positions. We've got a lot of chaos further down the field as the drivers slowly sort themselves back out into their original orders before the lap 1 chaos. MH1463, the leading driver on the hard compound tyres, having quite a decent start so far, able to stick with these guys as well. That's going to be the crucial thing. How close can he stick? Because he is on the favourable tyre. Big dive there from Psycho down the inside. Bit of contact, and they're going to tag wheels into the barriers there. Unfortunate stuff. I think that was Yari, potentially, that got caught up in that one. I'm not too sure who it was that he was side by side with, but contact being made, positions being lost, and Psycho is through, but unfortunately losing a position to the other Cadillac of BJ Riley as well, and losing quite a significant chunk of time as well. We'll jump back over to the front of the field now. Paulie and Puzant, first and second. 0.4 of a second the gap as we make our way out of the final corner. Who has the better battery for this start-finish race? Definitely looks like it's going to be the way of Puzant, but does he have enough to make the move on Ewan? By the time they hit the brakes in towards turn 1, here's the closing speed. Here comes the Ferrari side by side now as they turn their batteries off. Pure engine power now. Aerodynamic efficiency, tucking into the slipstream. Paulie looking to the outside, going to try and hang it later on the brakes to try and take that position back. But Puzan is through on lap 4 into the lead of this race. We saw his pace in the sprint, if only not for the drive-through. Could have been with a shot potentially to try and fight for victory. Got Captain Foxy into the pits as well. Ewan looking to the inside for a brief moment there on Puzan. Couldn't quite find any way to get through, just going to sit in behind for the time being. But these three well and truly checking out. It's a straight fight for victory between Puzant, Ewan and Leopold up at the front of the field. 4 seconds back to Eddie in 4th at this moment in time after a very chaotic start to this race, but he'll be very happy with that 4th place finish if he can stay there. Lots of drivers of course can be trying to fight their way through, try and take those positions away. And one of the drivers who is getting closer to the cars in front, maybe thinking about a move very soon. Oh, big hit with the wall. BJ Riley into the barriers, front wing damage for him. And unfortunately, that is going to cost him quite a few positions. Probably going to need a pit stop to fix the front wing as well. Easy mistake to make, and unfortunately, a very, very costly one for him. Yari up to 12th position now, looking to try and fight his way back through the field on the back of the Red Bull of Moist. Big clatter with the barriers there as he jumped over the inside curb there. Unfortunately, that might cost him a little bit here. The Audi driver, maybe a small amount of wing damage on his car. We'll have to wait and see how the performance continues. Down towards turn 1, Leopold is gaining on Pooley. Is there going to be a chance for an overtake here? The McLaren having to go slightly defensive into the first corner. Leopold setting up the attack in towards turn number 2, side by side with the McLaren driver round the outside. Leopold having to push Pooley too. Pooley with the better exit, Leopold with the better line. And Leopold is through up into second position now. Leopold seems to be quite inconsistently fast. At times he seems to be absolutely flying away, and then the next lap losing a lot of time. Maybe it is just a battery struggle for the V-Carb driver. Here comes Moist and Tyler side by side through turn number 3. And Yari going to look to try and capitalize as well, looking to the outside of the Red Bull driver. Unable to find a way through just yet. Yari not too far off of the points, but in a championship battle, that's not where you want to be. Big slide there from Rando in the background. He started on the hard compound tyres. But here comes Yari now looking to the inside into the castle section. Not going to be making that send anytime soon, especially not on lap 5 of 26, fighting for 12th position. But let's see what they can do. Here comes Lucas around the outside of MH 1463. And the Williams driver trying to get a better run into the final corner. Won't get that one done, but will get overtake mode, which the McLaren, will not have. Closing in now towards the start-finish line. Further up the road as well, we can see C156 making progress on the Ferrari. Here comes MH 1463 through. Let's jump over to this fight for what is 4th position. Here comes C156. Easily pulls himself clear up into 4th position now. The Ferrari of Eddie in 5th, Cook in 6th. Not going to be looking to try and follow through very, very soon. Probably this is going to be his best opportunity with the Ferrari without any overtake mode. And in fact, Cook going to do just that to the outside as Eddie disconnects from the session. Perfect opportunity, perfect timing really there for the Aston Martin driver. And that is unfortunately going to be quite costly for the Ferrari driver. Probably going to lose out on quite a lot of time as a result. Our top 3 still continuing on in formation. Puzant, Leopold and Ewan, the top 3 at the moment. As it stands, Leopold would maintain his championship lead, would extend it by a couple points as well. But things not going to be too straightforward, I don't think, once strategy comes into play. The long race this is as well, and the damage that could potentially come. You never know what you could be picking up. MH 1463 now through up into 6th position. He's on those hard compound tyres, about 10 seconds off of the race lead at the moment. Probably not his fight, but only a couple seconds off the lead of this pack of cars, which is C156 in the Red Bull. Could be on maybe to try and fight for 4th position, and if we see a bit of chaos, maybe 3rd. Or even higher potentially. Of course, a safety car coming at the right time could really bring him back into contention. Just got to wait and see how the cookie crumbles here tonight. Lucas going to be making his way through soon on Eddie as well, as I'm sure he'll be trying to reconnect into the session. Here comes Cook gaining on the back of the Rebel. We got yellow flags out. That is for Richie. Is that a bit of a off coming out of the castle section? Psycho is into the pit lane as well. And now Cook on the back of C156. More yellow flags out again. That is the Aston Martin of Richie. And we got a virtual safety car deployed. Psycho, Yari, Sprint, Rando, all in the pit lane. They're going to benefit from this. We could be seeing a couple more drivers down the far end of the field gaining from this. So the drivers that got hurt in the opening stages by the chaos of lap 1 far enough back that they could make the pit stop. Eddie picks up a 10-second penalty. He's disconnected. How has the AI picked up a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags? Make that make sense, EA. Not too sure how on earth that has come about. But I guess that's what's happened. Is this going to stay out long enough for our leaders to come in for their pit stops? Because this could be a prime opportunity, maybe to convert to a two-stop strategy potentially. Or maybe you could try and go to the end. Never mind, we are green once again. And Leopold with a jump here, around the outside here, heading in towards turn 15 on MPA3 Gamers to take the race lead. Really great reactions on the virtual safety car restart. And it finds himself through, up into the race lead once again. Puzant caught napping, loses out one position, almost lost out two positions as well, as Paulie is now right onto the back of him. But we run down towards turn 1. Who is going to burn the battery? Who's ready to save? Here comes Puzant immediately on the charge once again to try and take that position back. Paulie just sitting back for the time being. Will he get close enough by the time they reach turn 1 to try and mount a challenge? Here he comes looking to the inside. Puzant is through. Here comes Ewan to the inside of the Racing Bulls driver. Late on the brakes. Both of them trying to go as late as they possibly can. Paulie with the better exit. Contact between the two championship rivals. They both keep it straight as they head in towards turn number 2. And Leopold, after a great restart, has gone from first all the way down to third. Really, really unfortunate. Lots more drivers into the pits now as well. Cook, Eddie and Lucas all pitting on this lap as Tyler finds their way through on Ben, up into 6th position now. Nice move there from him. Another yellow flag. Richie really is struggling out there. Gets back going once again, but that Aston Martin not doing wonders on its tyres, and it really does start to show now. So Yari, after that pit stop under the virtual safety car, is now only about 4 seconds off the back of Cook, who was right at the front of that train fighting for 4th position. So Yari could still be in to get a decent result here potentially and try and keep himself in championship contention. Here we go, heading down towards turn 15. Leopold only 0.2 of a second off the back of Paulie, who might be saving a bit of battery here as we hit the brakes. That gap still staying around 0.2 of a second. Puzant is 7/10 clear, starting to get a bit comfortable up at the front. Are we going to see some more fighting to shake things up? Are we going to see some things changing with strategy? You can see the drivers sliding around. Those medium tyres are not going to be too happy at this stage of the race, and we very well could be seeing pit stops coming soon for these drivers. Yari is through up into 11th as well, ahead of his teammate now, and down towards turn number 1. We go into the pit. Leopold, late dive to the pit lane. Catches his rivals napping, gets himself in for the undercut, and this could be crucial. Third in the train. Can he get a big enough undercut to find his way through up into the lead potentially, or at least gain a position? That is going to be the crucial factor. MH1463 on the hard compound tyres that he started on, now through into 3rd position, makes the move on C156 after the pit stop from Cook. Saw him dropping out of this fight. Talking about Cook, gaining a couple positions as a result of drivers in the pits. That's Ben, Moist and the A-team pitting on this lap, along with Leopold, who comes out with about 3 seconds of clean air here. And then it's going to be one of the drivers who started on the hard compound tyres, followed by another couple seconds of clean air. Only 3 cars of traffic. Richie has stopped once again. Another spin coming out of the castle section. Really, really struggling is the Aston Martin driver. Lucas to the inside of Joker, heading in towards turn number 3. Finds his way past the Mercedes, who is starting to struggle out there on his older tyres after the pit stop he had on the opening lap. Paulie has dropped now a second off the back of the Ferrari. More yellow flags once again. It is Richie having a spin out there down at turn 15. Gets back going once again, but that Aston Martin, surely he has to come in for a pit stop very, very soon. Are we going to be seeing the power of the undercut this time around? Leopold soon will be catching up to the back of Tyler, and then we'll have some overtaking to do. Gonna have to hope it comes at an opportune moment where he can really make the difference. Let's jump over to our top 2. Are we going to see a pit stop from either of them? Let's head on board with the McLaren driver. And in fact, yes. Pit stops from both of them. They're both going to come into the pits now. MH1463 will inherit the race lead here now. on his hard concurrent of tyres. C156 also coming into the pits. Now a safety car now would probably not play into the hands of MH1463. We'd have to wait a little bit of a while until probably around lap 17. I guess a little bit earlier, lap 15, I think would be the earliest you could have a safety car be deployed. And MH1463 could get to the end of the race. All the while, it's only a couple seconds to Leopold, who has made the jump. I mean, look at that undercut. 3.7 seconds to Pesant, who was leading this race. He was about a second behind. He's getting about 4.5 seconds in just one lap. Now stuck on the back of Tyler. We could be seeing a bit of a dive here towards turn 5. Not even going to need the dive. So much more traction. He's able to pull himself a cars with the head. By the time they hit the brakes for turn number 5, he's got the pace here. Getting the burners on, he's starting to pull away. All these cars going to have to navigate the same traffic as well. Pesant and Ewan both going to have to make these overtakes. Cook is also actually only 1.5 seconds off. So having made that pit stop a little bit earlier, he's managed to get himself a lot closer to the fight for the lead. Yari could also maybe get himself into contention. Richie has gone off once again down at turn number 15 and has now picked up damage. Leopold towards turn 15 is gaining on MH1463, but for the time being is sitting behind, waiting for that overtake mode to come, and then he can get on the attack. As it stands, he is still 4 seconds clear of MPA3 gamers. Pesant behind, and here in towards the S's. This is a brave move to be making while fighting for the lead, fighting for the championship. He backs out of it in the end. On the exit, gets the run, and will find his way through now up into the race lead. MH1463 tucks into the slipstream behind the V-Carb driver now. Just going to sit behind. I think best for him not to battle, although towards turn 1 is gaining a little bit. Had thought about the move, and Tyler now into the pit lane. That's going to help the cars behind. They don't have as many cars of traffic now to navigate. Tyler on the 2-stop strategy as well. Almost certainly. I don't think he'll get to the end from here. We'll keep an eye as to what tyres. It's a set of medium tyres going onto the car. And Lucas has retired in the pit lane as well. Either Tyler has severely miscounted the number of laps in this race, or he is going to be coming in for another pit stop later on in the race. Paulie has caught the back of Pesant here as well. 0.8 of a second now the gap. That gap was considerably higher earlier on. They are also catching up to the back of MH1463. At this rate, Paulie might be in with a chance, if they catch at a bad time, of maybe trying to squeeze his way into the fight here. For as it stands, what will be second place. They're going to be, of course, hoping they can catch back up to Leopold, though. They does seem that they've had the pace in the opening stages. Leopold has been struggling out there, but you never know what could come as we make our way in towards turn 15. This does look like it's going to be very nice timing, actually, for Pesant. Not so much for Ewan, who is about a second off the back of the Williams driver as they make their way through the final corner. Going to be difficult for him to make the run towards turn number 1. Pesant, on the other hand, should have this very easy. The gap is about 0.6 of a second. From the Williams to the McLaren, here comes the Ferrari side by side now, and the focus is going to be on the McLaren here, and I don't think MH1463, he's actually coming into the pit lane. He's not going to put up a challenge at all. Paulie now with the fastest lap of the race. That time around, almost a second faster than Leopold up at the front. The gap is already starting to close to our race leader. They're bringing that down, and they're going to be focusing on trying to get as close as they can. Here's Psycho and Yari running down towards turn 2. Yari with the outside line, currently in 6th position, rounding outside to make that 5th position. Really, really great move. Equal tyres as well. That was pure driving ability. Here comes Psycho now back to the inside, late on the brakes, in towards turn 3. Going to try and squeeze his way back up into that 5th position. Yari now has the inside for turn number 4. Can he try and make this one work? No, he cannot. Psycho better around the outside, more speed carried, finds his way through. We've got a car off. That's BJ Riley down at turn 1. Managed to keep the car going. And I think a bit of damage on the car potentially, although some of the parts of the car are not rendering. It does look like there's quite a lot of damage to the front wing, though. Let's see then. Back up to the front of the field. Pretty equal between the top 3 through the first sector. Through this middle sector, they are gaining time. Just 1 lap fresher tyres, but it does seem to already be making a difference here for Pesant and for Paulie. Virtual safety car deployed once again. And I'm trying to work out what that is for. I have absolutely no idea. We have another virtual safety car, though. I think that's our 4th virtual safety car of the race. Nobody who can really benefit from this one, because all of our leaders are on pretty fresh tyres. I'd be very surprised to see... My surprise is about to change, I think. Never mind. No, double never mind. Oh my goodness, Leopold is pitting here. He's on only 3-lap-old hard compound tyres. It's into the pits for championship leader. Puzan will go through, as will Ewan. That is probably the boldest strategy call I have ever seen. Only 3-lap-old tyres, and he's decided to make a pit stop. Psycho is also into the pits. He's on a bit older tyres. It makes sense for him. But Leopold is not going to have the biggest tyre advantage. He's going to be a long, long way behind. BJ Riley has now retired in the pit lane, that is. I believe, no, that is actually on the track. He stops down at turn 14. We are back to green flag running, though. So now we look for Leopold. He is 11 seconds off the lead. 13 laps to go and a 3-lap tyre advantage. Cook now has the podium position, 3 seconds ahead of Leopold. But this is going to be an almighty charge back for Leopold if he wants to try and make this one work. How much pace does a 3-lap tyre advantage afford you here at the Baku City Circuit? This is going to be so, so crucial. I think Ben, having a bit of a mistake just there, lost the position to MH1463 and lost quite a bit of time as well. This is going to be fascinating stuff. If Leopold can come through, take victory here, this is going to be an incredible strategy call from the Racing Bulls driver. I'm so surprised on just a 3-lap tyre offset, though. He was multiple seconds clear at the front. To make a pit stop here, it puts the pressure on for the championship leader. Very, very, very brave stuff from the V-Carb driver. Puzant and Ewan first and second now, 0.6 of a second separating them as we have now crossed half race distance. We're on lap 14 of 26, 13 laps left to go here in Baku. 13 completed. And we won't get into exact representation, of course, because of the first sector not being accurate, but through the second and third sectors, Leopold gained 0.8 of a second. That alone would be enough for him to catch by the end of this race. The gap is already 9.4 seconds. He needs I think he needs less than well, he definitely needs less than a second. I think it's probably about 0.8 of a second per lap that he needs to be finding. He's immediately onto the back of Cook now. That was a 3-second gap when he came out of the pits. This should be a very straightforward move heading down towards turn 7, I expect, from the V-Carb driver. Fakes the move, thinks about it again. Going to send it down the inside on the Aston Martin driver to take that podium position. They're side by side heading into the castle section. Cook decides to yield. He knows that fight is not his and decides to give it up in the end. Fastest first sector of anybody for the Racing Bulls, 0.6 faster than the two race leaders. The gap is now 8 seconds. We can see the delta now nice and clearly. Through the middle sector, it's 41.8 for both of our top two drivers. They're pretty much identical times on this lap for the Racing Bulls. It's actually also a 41.8. Of course, he was fighting for a brief portion of time, but that's not what you want to be seeing if you're the driver chasing down an 8-second gap. We'll have to wait and see how this now plays out now that they are all in clean air. Whether there is an opportunity potentially. We'll jump over to Tyler as well, one of the drivers who we suspect to be on a 2-stop strategy, closing in on C156 down towards the first corner. Pulls himself alongside and ahead by the time they hit the brakes. Switchback coming maybe for C156. Tries to set up a better exit. Nothing coming of it in the end. Benoit also losing positions to Psycho. Better tyres for the Cadillac driver, the other driver who did pit under that virtual safety car. He was fighting Yari before, so that is his target. And looking at the gap, he is about 10 seconds off at the moment. He's got a lot more traffic to navigate as well. Captain Foxy and Rando both into the pit lane now. Leopold is gaining, but maybe not as quickly as he would be hoping. 6/10 again in the first sector found on this lap. Last lap overall, he was pretty much 6/10 faster. We got yellow flags. Rando has retired from the race. That is not due to terminal damage, though. He has just hit the retire button, so no safety cars coming as a result of that. 7.2 seconds now the gap as we head in towards turn 16. He is catching. He's catching for certain. He has actually found a lot more time on this lap. Found another 6/10 in the middle sector. It's just, I think it was too risky. I mean, it's going to work out, I think, but that so easily could have gone wrong with such a small tyre offset. It's a bold decision there from Leopold, but he might have had it under control anyway from the lead of the race. Tyler battling once again with C156 in towards turn 1. There's contact between the pair of them, and sideways goes the Alpine driver. C156 keeps that position on the 6-lap-old hard compound tyres. He can go to the end. The Alpine cannot. Going to be another pit stop coming for him, and MH1463 as well, which will help Psycho a little bit, depending on when those pit stops do come. Probably pretty soon, though. We're on lap 16 of 26, maybe in the next 2 or 3 laps for them. The gap now dropping under 7 seconds here for Leopold, as he's really pushing there through the castle section. Finds a couple tenths of a second just through that section of corners alone. In fact, about half a second found there. And yeah, he is pushing on hard to try and close this gap as quickly as he can. And as quickly as we were saying, it's going under 7 seconds. It might very soon be going under 6. Big hit with the wall there for the Racing Bulls driver. Hasn't cost him too much, though. I'm just double checking. Yes, that is just how the Racing Bulls wing is. He hasn't lost one of his end plates there. Psycho making moves here as well. MH1463 losing out now. Psycho up to 8th position. Continues on his charge to try and catch up to Yari. But despite having 6-lap fresher tyres, is yet to gain any time. It's still a 10-second gap to the Audi driver, who is doing a very good job actually out there, and very soon might be making a move here for 4th position. And after dropping all the way to the back of the field, and for a moment thinking he was virtually out of contention here tonight, he has dragged his Audi right back to the front. And now, if things were to finish as they are, he would only be losing 3 points to Leopold and 6 points to Paulie. It would not be the worst deficit in the world. It would be less points than if one of them had won the race, no matter where he had finished. So ultimately things could be going considerably worse as long as he can make this move on Cook in front. And it's only 2 more points lost to both of them if he cannot. This is not worst case scenario for Yari. Of course, he could have been extending his championship lead potentially, but as it stands, not going to be too bad for him. Paulie still just sitting behind Pesant at the front of the field. The gap staying pretty stable, around half a second. I think they're just happy to contend later on. If they know either that Leopold will definitely go through or definitely will not go through. If it's going to be close, they do not want to be fighting and risk losing time and allowing the V-Carb through to take the positions away from both of them. Because both of them are going to be wanting, of course, to try and pick up as many points as possible. Pesant to try and get himself back into the championship contention. Paulie to try and take the championship lead, which he would do as it stands, I believe. But yeah, going to be very, very interesting indeed. Yes, I think he would lead the championship by 2 points if it stays as it stands. So that is the focus for him, really. At least finish second. If Leopold wins, try and beat Pesant. If Leopold can't win, make sure that you're ahead of him. We've got more yellow flags out. That is one of the Mercedes. Going slowly. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Don't know, I think that was Joker who had a bit of an off. Managed to get back going once again. Moist coming into the pit lane for another pit stop. Tyler has come in for his pit stop as well, onto a set of the medium tyres. That explains why he left it so late. Doesn't have another hard tyre available to him. The gap to Leopold now 5 seconds between Leopold and Paulie. 5.8 to the race leader. Definitely closing in. Definitely going to catch before the end of this race, as long as the tyres hold together for him. Yari is still sitting about 1.5 seconds off the back of Cook. Managed to briefly get around a second between himself and the Aston Martin, but now starting to struggle a bit more, it seems. Especially with the older tyres. He's on 11 lap old hard tyres already, pitted at the end of lap 6. Which, to be honest, is probably the lap you'd want to be pitting if you were doing a medium hard strategy. And he has not got that second hard. Either maybe going for another medium. We've got Richie once again, had an off, got back going again. And Cook is into the pits. Well, that gives the position to Yari. Nice and straightforward. But we might still be seeing a pit stop from a couple of these drivers. C156 also coming into the pit lane. Maybe some of these drivers having to convert to a late 2-stop strategy. XD Tyler has just made the move on Sprint F1 and now going to be benefiting from a couple of positions after getting that undercut. He's going to come out behind Cook. And if we do see a lot more pit stops, this is maybe a P5 position on the cards for the Alpine driver. Really depends how things play out, though. That's assuming Yari and Ben both come into the pits and he can try and fight with Cook here. Psycho on 6 lap old tyres came back pitted at the same time as Leopold has actually now lost time to Yari. Just shows the pace that the Audi driver has been able to find. He was able to nurse the medium tyres in the sprint, so it does seem that he can do very well on his tyres. Joker, the A-Team, Eddie and Richie all coming in for pit stops as well very late on in this race. We've got more yellow flags, and that is Sprint, who's had an off down at turn number 7. Gets back going once again just in front of his teammate MH1463, who's out on the brand new medium tyres. Not going to be too happy that he's getting caught up behind his teammate, who is really struggling on those hard compound tyres. Almost drives into the back of him. Paulie is into the pits. The plug is pulled at the front of the field, and this could decide things now. A pit stop for the McLaren driver. He decided he can't get to the end. There's going to be 6 laps on this hard compound tyre. And now Leopold is going to be ahead. Yari is also into the pits. Can Leopold get to the end of this race on his hard compound of tyre? It would be about the same number of laps that Yari has done. It might just about be doable, but how much pace is he going to have? It's now a 7-lap tyre offset. We saw how quickly Leopold was catching. How quickly can Paulie fight back? Are we going to see another pit stop from Leopold as well? So many questions to be answered here. Pouzan still staying out at the moment as well. This race really throwing everything at us with the strategy. Twists and turns coming lap after lap. We've got a car off down at turn number 4. That is Psycho in the Cadillac, who looked like he could have been on for a potential P4 finish. Now loses positions to Cook and Tyler. Yari also now looking to make the move round the outside on Psycho. Switchback coming potentially towards turn 7. Drives into the back of the Cadillac. Gonna look to the inside, heading into the braking zone. Can't get close enough. Lock up there as well from the Cadillac. That's him going straight on into the barriers. Yari's through, C156 through as well. And all of a sudden the race really started to fall apart. He has actually picked up some damage as well, so that might be part of his issues. We're on lap 20 of 26. Looking at the sector times, Paulie is gaining seconds a sector, I think, at this stage. Leopold may not be safe just yet. There might still be a chance for Paulie to catch up and fight to the end. There's a lock-up there from the V-Carb heading in towards turn 1. He's not really catching our race leader either anymore. Only 3/10 faster on the previous lap. And another hit with the barriers to the car straight on down the escape road. That is the other Aston Martin, not Cook. For a second, I thought that might have been the Aston Martin running in 4th. That is Richie having another off. But all eyes are now going to be on Paulie. to try and fight his way through. He was pretty much guaranteed, I think, to finish in second position here. And now going to have some work to do if he wants to find his way through up back into that second position. Psycho is out of the race with tyres in the pit lane. No safety car coming once again, fortunately for Paulie, who would have been very, very upset to see his strategy unfold. The gap was 11 seconds at the start of this lap. It's already under 10. And he is gaining at a rapid rate of knots, 2 seconds faster in the first sector. That is incredible pace. He is absolutely flying and may still have a chance to fight for that P2 and maybe P1. I'm not so sure about P1, but definitely I'd say P2 is on the cards now for Paulie. With such a tyre advantage, if Puzant still has to pit to make it to the end here, that could change things as well. The tyres are not going to be happy on the Ferrari car as he makes his way down to start lap 22 of 26. It's 5 laps to go here. And he is still staying out on the track, hoping that the tyres will hang on through the middle sector. Another 1.2 seconds faster. This lap should be about 3 seconds faster than Leopold. Paulie is flying and should be onto the back of him with a couple of laps still to go in this race. It's at 42.4, 45.9, 3.5 seconds faster on this lap is the McLaren driver. At this rate, we'll catch him in just 2 laps time to get within the overtake mode. And that would be the start of lap 24. Gives him a couple of laps to make the overtake. If he can do that efficiently, maybe there still could be enough time to catch up to Puzant at the front, especially with how hard these tyres are going to be dropping away come the end of this race. Yari making moves with Tyler as well, fighting over P5. Still, P4 could be on the cards for the Audi driver if he can fight his way back towards Cook and try and find his way through. He's got the medium tyres compared to the hards on Cook's car. P5 now for Yari. And we've got more yellow flags out once again. That is the other Aston Martin. It is Richie going slowly, not Cook. Yari would have got very excited seeing that yellow flag just for a brief moment. Paulie now 6 seconds off the back of Leopold. Gained another 2 seconds on this lap. Personal best in the first sector. Through the middle sector, finding more time still. Absolutely flying out there. 1.3 faster in the first sector, 1.5 faster in the middle sector. The gap is now 5 seconds. We're starting lap 23 of 26, 4 laps to go. We're gaining over 2.5 seconds lap, and Leopold into the pit lane. This changes things once again. Now clean air for Paulie. Leopold calls it quits on the hard tyres. 10 laps into the stint. Puzant is 13 laps in. He's going to have to go longer than anybody has gone in this race. Going to be 16 laps on those hard compound tyres. All the while getting chased down by Paulie in the McLaren. Leopold now comes out. Back onto the hards that he was on earlier on in this race before he pitted under the virtual safety car. So despite just making a pit stop, he's actually got older tyres than Paulie, and he's 12 seconds behind. If Yari has got the pace in those medium tyres, which I'm not entirely sure of, he might still have a chance to get onto the podium here. You never know what could come in these final few laps. Paulie is going to be pushing hard to try and take victory here tonight. And I think Puzant might have just missed the trick with the strategy here. Had he come in at the time when Paulie did, there very well could be a chance that he would have taken the strategy advantage here. He had the track position already. If he had made that bold decision to make that pit stop, it might well have been him leading this battle through and fighting for victory here tonight. Instead, he's stuck there doing 45.9s while Paulie is doing 42.1s. It's 4 seconds a lap faster. It was 10 seconds at the start of this lap. The gap is now 6.3 and getting smaller and smaller. By the time we reach the line, it's going to be almost 6 seconds exactly. 46.5 for our race leader, 42.5. It's 4 seconds a lap faster. The gap is 6 seconds with 3 laps left to go in this race. things really starting to fall apart. Jari is onto the back of Cook. This could be a move very, very soon as well for the Audi driver to try and take 4th position here. But coming into this race 3rd in the championship battle, leaving the sprint 2nd, it looks like he will be leaving the feature race here, leaving Azerbaijan, leading the championship for Paulie in the McLaren. Sprint win already bagged, pole position bagged as well, and it looks like the feature race victory will be coming his way very, very soon. Too late now for us to see a safety car. C156 looking for a switch back here on Tyler, who might be starting to struggle on those medium tyres. In towards the chicane we go. No move coming just yet for the Red Bull driver, but he is very close, looking for a better run out of the chicane towards turn number 7. And here banging with the barriers as well. Looks to the inside, thought about it just for a brief moment there. Not going to go for it in the end. Jari right on the back of Cook as they make their way through the castle section, as is C156 almost pushing the Alpine up the hill. Paulie only 2 seconds off the back of Puzant as they make their way through to start the penultimate lap of the race. More yellow flags coming out for Richie, going slowly in towards 15 we run. No move coming yet just yet here for C156, and Puzant is into the pits. He's going to concede the lead. Paulie will head through on just 5 lap old tyres. These will comfortably make it to the end of the race with a massive lead now to the cars behind. The gap is immense. We'll wait for the deltas to settle themselves down with Puzant in the pit lane. 12 seconds is the lead that he has now, matching the pace of Leopold. Strategy deciding things here tonight. C156 has the outside line. There's contact into the first corner. Tyler almost said spinning round. C156 takes that position on the track. Captain Foxy and MH1463 side by side, heading in towards the first corner. The Mercedes driver inside line, trying to hold on to this one. MH1463 gets the better exit. Here comes Benoit as well, heading in towards turn 2. Outside line once again for the Williams driver. Benoit has the inside line now on the Williams, and looking to try and take that position up to 9th position, could potentially even be 8th position by the time they hit the brakes if he's got the battery. Not just yet to try and fight with Captain Foxy, and the Williams actually able to swoop back around the outside. MPA3 Gamer, he's gone very late with his pit stop, just 2 laps to go. Onto brand new medium tyres, 1.7 seconds off the back of Leopold, who is on 6 lap old hard compound tyres. Is there still a chance for 2nd position in this race? Is there a chance for Jari to get up into 4th position? He's right on the back of Cook, heading on to these final 2 laps of this race. The final lap coming up very, very soon. And we still could be seeing changes of positions in the podium in the fight for 4th. And yeah, this is going to be an incredible end to this race. Jari towards turn 1, his first opportunity to try and fight for this one coming. Is he going to have the overspeed, the battery ready to try and make this move here? Or is he going to have to settle in behind and just wait till the end of the lap? Gaining towards the first corner. The gap is 0.3 of a second. Not going to be close enough just yet unless he goes very brave on the brakes. Thought about the dive to the inside. Looked for it. Didn't quite find it in the end. He's thinking about the move. He knows he has the pace to try and make this move stick, but he's got to find the opportunity, and they're deep on the brakes for Cook. Not the best exit. This could be Jari's chance. Gaining towards turn 4. Battery running out for Cook. He's losing power at the end of the straight. Here comes Jari to the inside line to try and take this position. 4th position on the final lap of the race, side by side, heading in towards turn 4. Cook late on the brakes, trying to squeeze the Audi out wide. Into the barriers there for Jari as he tries to carry as much speed as possible. They're into the chicane now. Inside line for the Audi. Gets himself through. Cook tries to set up the switchback. Nothing coming of it just yet. Looks like Jari has this position for the time being. And now we look to Puzant, who is gaining on the back of Leopold. He's gained a second already. This is his chance to try and bag 2nd place, but he's only got a couple of overtaking opportunities to come. Going to be oh so crucial that he tries to make this move. Only a couple of braking zones left to go. It's just going to be the drag race to the line for him now. And we wait to see if there's anything he can do, maybe on the brakes, heading in towards the final corner here. Nothing coming just yet. Gonna have to sit behind for the run towards the line, up at the front. While this has been happening, Paulie has absolutely dominated on strategy. A sensational drive and picks up his second victory of the season. Only 2 drivers to pick up 2 victories. He is now one of them. MPA3 gamers side by side running towards the line. Just enough battery, I think, to snatch this one away by the checkered flag. Fastest lap of the race as well. MPA3 gamer comes home in second place. Leopold picks up P3. Yari will come home fighting from the back of the field after the opening lap to pick up P4. Cook comes home in 5th. C156 will come home in P6. Captain Foxy, a really, really great drive from the Mercedes driver to pick up P7. And I think Tyler has retired, crashed on the final lap of this race, will not pick up any points despite all of the best attempts. Benoit will pick up P8, MH1463 coming home in P9, and both Williams going to finish in the points. I believe the only team with both drivers in the points, P9 and P10 for Sprint F1. An incredible end to the race. The strategy taking so many twists and turns. Nobody could make it on the one-stop strategy. Everyone having to bail for that second stop. But in the end, Paulie timing it best, wins by 10 seconds. And contact there between the A-Team and Joker on the start-finish rate. I'm not too sure what has happened between those two. The A-Team clearly not happy about something, and I expect we'll be picking up a very harsh penalty from the stewards as a result of that. Moist comes home in P12, Joker in P13. Tyler, as it stands, in P14 retired, but I think Eddie, no, he has finished the race already. He's a lap down. So Tyler will come home in P14, a lap down. Eddie, P15, also a lap down. And Richie crawling up to the line with a rear right puncture. Came in for the soft compound tyres. They only lasted 6 laps. He crawls his way across the line. 2 laps down in the end. But wow, what an incredible drive there. Championship lead now held by Ewan. 2 race wins to his name. He extends his margin. Another 10 points found in this race to the previous championship leader. I think he now leads by 8 points total. That 1/10 of a second found by Pesant on the final lap of this race. Here you can see it was 99, 99, 95 for Paulie, for Leopold, Yari, and then Paulie. Paulie finds 13 points. He is 9 points clear in the championship ahead of Leopold now, and finds 19 points compared to Yari. That is incredible stuff here for Paulie in the end. They are your total points found. We'll have a quick look at your race results as well. It's Paulie who takes victory by 10 seconds. Pesant comes home in 2nd. Leopold in 3rd. Yari in 4th. Then we have Cook in 5th, C156 and 6, Captain Foxy, Benwell, MH1463, and Sprint F1 rounding out your points finishers. The A-Team, Moist, Joker, Tyler, Eddie, and Richie, all of your classified drivers. Then we have your retirees, Psycho, Rando, BJ Riley, Lucas Spurs, and Jack retiring as well. Really unfortunate stuff there for the Haas driver. Definitely had the possibility to be fighting up near the front at least. I just quickly need to fix my camera as well because I'm almost certain it is frozen. Let me just quickly sort that first and foremost, and then we will jump back over. But yeah, what a race. A very chaotic opening lap there. But yeah, incredible stuff with the strategy. I don't even know what to say, to be honest. I was expecting the 2-stop coming into it. Then I thought they were going to try the 1-stop. And then we saw pit stops on laps where I wasn't really expecting it. Paulie's strategy was 9 laps on the medium tyres, 10 laps on the hards, then 7 laps on the hards again. Pesant did 9 on the mediums. My camera's frozen again. Lovely stuff. Pesant did 9 laps on the mediums, 15 on the hards, and 2 on the mediums again. Leopold, 8 on the mediums, 4 on the hards, 10 on the hards, and another 4 laps on that first hard as well. And those were the 3 drivers finishing in the top 3. Such a mix of strategy. I still don't know what would be the ultimate fastest strategy. I don't think we saw the ultimate fastest strategy there. I think there would have been a slightly better way to do it. Maybe pitting around lap 8 and then lap 16. Or maybe lap 6 and 16, I think is the numbers I had in my head. I'm not sure. We don't know. Nobody actually did that strategy. I'm just looking. Yep, nobody. That's probably what I would have gone for. But yeah, very, very interesting stuff here tonight. And ultimately, you really couldn't put anything between them. The drivers were so evenly matched, I think, at the front, and it was just purely down to the strategy decisions that decided the race here tonight. Paulie able to pit earlier and get that undercut effectively, putting him into the lead, and now he leads the championship. But yeah, strategy deciding things here tonight, and an incredible race. Congratulations to Ewan for the race victory, his second of the season. He now leads the championship by 9 points provisionally, assuming nothing changes with the stewards. But yeah, thank you for joining us here tonight. Been an incredible race. Next time out, we'll quickly bring the calendar up for you. We head to Bahrain on the 16th of August. Ignore the dates. They are a week out of sync. It's Bahrain next time out. Then we have Shanghai, Miami and Suzuka to wrap things up here in the OWLS Racing League for Season 8. A 9-point championship lead going the way of Ewan with just a handful of races left to go. Can he take victory here in Season 8? All to be decided in the coming month. Thank you for joining us here tonight, and we will see you all next week. Take care, and bye for now.